Why y'all running? Why y'all running? It's another week, and we're back with more King-Ohger action! Especially now that we have a new warm body to add to that roster. So, hot off the heels of last week's background info, King-Diculous starts off his new arc of the story, Community Service. That's right, and who else to dish out the workload than none other than the guy that Raculous just couldn't stop wanting to off, Yanma. Making use of that one robot suit, Raculous has gone Jinzo Ningen up in here. Yanma, however, wants more info on how to beat Doug Dad, and Raculous has more answers? Really, there's more stuff? Y'all just got the power up for... Okay, what's this power up? It seems that the crown left behind wasn't the only major artifact to have superpowers, but every single one of their kingly mementos also are part of a larger puzzle. Okay, yeah, no, this sucks. Tell me I'm mistaken over it. Yeah, no, this sucks. Not only are they mentioning this now, but they literally are just regular pieces of jewelry that Bandai won't sell. Or will they? Either way, the heroes of old used these powers to defeat the Bugnarok and then split it between themselves to seal away that power. So the symbols of each nation hold the power, and Rita's freezing dojutsu was just an example of one of them. But in order to use that power, the kings need to unite as one, as the power has the ability to cut straight through the cosmos! Isn't that right? Did you move? Though that's all great and good, but this really just sounds like God King-Ohger all over again. I could have sworn that this was the exact phrasing that they were using back when they were describing the thing. But because of all this, leadership is in order. But Yanma doesn't like taking Raculous at face value. After all, he did keep trying to destroy Enkasopa. Let's check in on newly revived Dugdead breaking in those new hands on everyone. Why? Because he's serious about taking that planet now, minus the people. He's so serious that he's not gonna do it himself. Now back to the king. Okay. Interesting. As the way to decide just who stands at the peak of the kingdom is with ball busting. Oh wait, that's what Doug Dad ended up doing to the previous king. Well, actually, nah, this one's more tame and a little bit more wholesome. Not really. That's right, the obvious one is out first. Everyone is gunning for Jesus to not take the wheel. So with Gear out, next up we've got Rita v. Jeremy. But Jeremy's got the Mofun, so he wins. Himeno, dual wielding, but Deboski hits her with the mommy, the daddy, and all the dupes of Sebastian. That's right, collect them ball today. Looks like this game's winner is no one, because it's now just an old-fashioned brawl. Hey, where's Yanma? Oh, there he is, and he's got lightning powers. Turns out that while they were fighting, he managed to unlock his king powers, proceeding to blow everyone off the stage. Though, it looks like Yanma and everyone else's fighting was just part of Hillbill's plans, because everyone has been stirred to aim to be at the top. Even Hat Guy. But it turns out being Jesus Hasty has its perks, because Hillbill can't convince the spawn of God. So, while everyone gets turned to amber, we get gratuitous panty shot! Just for Deboski to slide on them thighs and smack her off. Which is exactly what Gira's gonna do to Yanma. Oh, that worked? That was fast. I guess he's back to his senses, which Hillbill is not taking lightly. Turning up the convincing on herself, just to get big. So now, it's King-Ohger time. This time, with the power of lightning. And not the kind from the Fangs of Defiance. No, this one's non-threatening to the user, and seems to be much more effective, since Hillbill is finally defeated. Yeah, that didn't even feel weighty as the first defeat of a jester. And even though Dugdead was the one that was encasing the citizens in amber, apparently defeating Hillbill was the trigger to freeing them. That makes no sense, but okay. When all is said and done, Yama asked Raculus how it felt when he was the sole ruler of the planet. Fantastic! The power trip can really get to someone, huh? Ain't that right, Yama? But the power belonging to just one king is too much. So, Yama convinces the others that making another shared power alliance is necessary, which is as it should be. All this was enough to send shockwaves out towards the cosmos. I mean, Doug Dead's face. Wait, that's not his face. That's his forehead. Whatever that is. Rating time! When it comes to this episode, it's weird. Or rather, the route this show has taken, because we should be wrapping things up or at least getting close to that finale. But after the last upgrade was hacked and dispersed around the group, this introduction of even more power-ups out of nowhere kind of sours things for me. Not only that, but we have the lack of the impact of a major jester's falling. I don't know, something is just very, very odd here. And look, for that reason, I'm gonna end up giving this episode the Car Ranger C! Usually when we start gearing things up towards the end games, stakes start ramping up and the show tends to shift in their dynamics. But the more I watched this episode, the more I didn't like what was presented this week. I held off from my initial impressions that I had yesterday and let it just sit for a bit until today. But like I said, we keep getting some tonal whiplash and more add-ons to the ability set, and it just feels very unnecessary by this point in the story. We literally got the Fangs of Defiance, which was used once by everyone who's not Gira. He used it twice. But then we got the power to kill the immortals that now everyone has. And now we have the power to pierce through the cosmos? Like, okay, I get that we got the crown and lance. And I mentioned previously, why didn't Yama just end up duplicating it? Because we know he has the ability to do such things, right? But now we know why they didn't do that. Because they gave them all some sort of extra last minute power up that you can tell is just very last minute. Why? Because it's literally just symbolized using their individual kingdom logos. Well, Gira gets a real physical symbol, the crown. They also imply that Rita's ability is one of these unique abilities. But the thing was, that was something that felt unique to Rita, to make them stand out from the other kings. But now, everyone gets unique abilities. Yay! It kind of kills that for Rita's character. This also sets the stage to once again have another round of going through all the kingdoms just for all of them to end up discovering their new abilities. Now, as Raculus described combining all of the king's powers as used in the past to defeat the Bugnaroks, I was like, hold up, wasn't that supposed to be God King-Ohger this whole time? Like, I know that Jeremy fabricated the tapestry, but that's what was always implied, hence the name of the show. But no, now they twisted it to mean another thing, which, for me, makes no sense why they needed that power to end up driving the Bugnarok away. Because, once again, it was all about the God King-Ohger. The God King-Ohger was what they needed. The God King-Ohger is what they used in the first half of the show to fully defeat Deathnarak. It cheapens that entire dynamic. Another thing is, Yama just keeps doing shit behind the scenes. Extracting the Immortality Slaying Code just happens. This lightning shit, it just happens. He unlocks this shit in what seems to be minutes, and it really just makes the entire effect feel very, very cheap. Though it was good to see that the power really did end up going to his head, and gave us direct parallels to him and Raculus, who, as it turns out, was so committed to the bit of being a dick that even when he was crushing people under his boot, it wasn't really forced. It just came naturally. Because being a dick just came with the power. I mean, you play the bit long enough, eventually you are the bit, which is what we got here. There was one note that people tried bringing to my attention, especially after last night's stream, and it was just Hillbill's ability to be nullified by Dugdead and his children. Meaning, the jesters themselves aren't related to Dugdead as I previously thought, but they still seem to share some sort of a connection to him, given the power that they gave to Minangan leading up to his revival. But also, does that mean that Dugdad's got other kids? You think he's just been traveling the cosmos, spreading his seed? Oh, absolutely. Gotta get bored out there. Also, maybe I'm in the minority here, but how are y'all feeling when it comes to the tone these episodes have been having recently? And by that, I mean either the A or the B plot being just goofy and a complete 180 from the serious tone that the other plot of the episode is having. Especially when there should be a lot of drama being set in place given the stakes that are currently at hand. It really almost feels like there aren't any stakes just because of the shenanigans that keep coming into play. This week was the balls on heads, last week was the kidification, before that was the bomb seats, and then next week they get mentally babified? Like, what is really going on? It doesn't even feel like we're even close to the end game. They're probably just padding out for time. When you get... But yeah, they're probably padding out for time given that they're locked to the 50 episode count and this is episode 44. So we've got 6 episodes left. But also given that every power-up that they've received recently has not had a physical attribute to them in order to be toyetic, kind of implies that as far as Toei and Bandai are concerned, really, everything started and ended with the KingOhger toys. No other thing was planned out. It really seems weird. Did thematically the show blow its load in the first half? And did they really not have a proper plan for the second half? Because usually, yeah, you would have more toys coming into play, but everything that we've been getting has just been repaints, recolors of the KingOhger. And even then, we still got things that have not been paid off. Remember the Abyssal Tarantula? Though this second half is good, it's nowhere near and just pales in comparison to that first half. And I'm just curious how this is gonna end, as I'm starting to feel that if Dugdad can just revive infinitely through his kids, potentially, then they can't really defeat him unless Gira sacrifices himself or something of himself in order to sever the link between himself and his dad. I still hate this revelation though. Either way, I know I'm gonna end up getting some heat from my statements just now, but once again, those are my thoughts. What are yours? What did you think about this week's KingOhger? Yanma getting the buffs, Raculus being goofy, and continual power-ups. Anyway, that's it for me. Until next time, bye. I'm not dead. Made it! I'm fucked!